Yo, what's up, guys? It's Tat, and Behavior has put out a developer update, and it's looking pretty nice. So I wanted to go over a few things here. I did go over this on stream, but I've since had some time to kind of think more about a few things, and I want to make a dedicated video talking about it. So there's going to be a Red Forest rework. As we know, they've been slowly going through the older maps and bringing them up to date to the current standard of graphics. Um, Along with map reworks tend to be some balance adjustments. The last map they reworked was, of course, Erie, and that got a complete balance update, and so that was nice. I'm hoping that they make some balance changes in addition to the graphical changes, specifically making the maps smaller, shortening some of the loops as well, just making them more engaging, more interesting, and less safe. It's always really a good thing to do. And yeah, it's just not much to say about the art. It's looking amazing. The art team at Behavior usually does a pretty good job. Oh, look at that exit gate. It's like made of wood. Cool. There's some map rotation changes. So basically, all this um, is if you play on one map in your previous game, let's say you played on RPD, you won't get RPD in the next game. You'll be on a completely different map. It might be Cold Hour. It might be Erie. It might be Fractured Cowshed. It might be the Lodge. Basically, you're not gonna play on the same map twice. So get some variety. I feel like repeat killer prevention would have been a smarter thing to implement, but that could probably affect queue times. So maybe that's why they didn't do it. But this is still a nice feature. Hopefully they take a look at map offerings at a later date because that's part of the problem. We got some loadout changes for bots, as well as just some quality of life changes as well for them. So now bots don't get stuck on stuff, or they shouldn't as often. They're smarter. They'll try and use perks. Speaking of, you can actually now create a perk loadout for a bot. So if you want a bot to use Circle of Healing, a bot to use Unbreakable, etc., they will do so. Um, so that's nice. You can actually practice certain killers against certain builds and try things out. So that's cool. Also, some killer power improvements. So now they'll try and disarm hag traps and bear traps and stuff. They'll actually try and play around it. We got two perk changes coming in this particular chapter patch. Now they have made it clear at the very bottom here. There's going to be more perk changes in the mid chapter. So this isn't going to be just like only what's common, only two perk changes. No, these are two perk changes coming 100% for this chapter release. There will be a whole host of perk changes in the following mid chapter. So 6 weeks after the chapter goes live, you can expect another meta shakeup. They are taking Eruption and they're throwing it in the garbage can. It honestly deserves it. But I think they probably went a little too far, but we'll talk about it. So what they did was they made it so that it loses 10% of its current generator progress rather than the total progress. So it's as effective a pop goes the weasel. It's this sucks. Okay, basically, if you want a gen to lose 10% of the full thing, um you should just use pain res or surge. They do similar values and it does the total progress. This is awful. This is terrible. Current progress is just really, really unfortunate. The problem with Eruption was incapacitated, which they completely removed. It will no longer apply incapacitated onto survivors. Instead, when a survivor is hit by Eruption on a generator that they're repairing, they scream, so they're interrupted, and then their aura is shown to the killer for 10 seconds. So it's an info perk now. It's not really a gen regression perk. Um, Maybe they're doing this because there's other perk changes, like other regression perks getting changed in the mid chapter. But yeah, I don't think that this particular line is a good idea. Total progress, that's fine. No issue there. but not current progress. No one uses Pop Goes the Weasel because it's on current progress. It's just fucking terrible. This needed to happen. Eruption was annoying. Incapacitated was too strong. Hopefully they've learned their lesson and we don't get incapacitated on a perk ever again. Because it's just really unpleasant to play against. But yeah, this first part not cool. The second part very cool. So I'm very mixed on Eruption. I'm still not going to use the perk because I hate Eruption. But for the people who relied on Eruption, I guess now you have to get good. Any means necessary is getting another buff. It's kind of funny. Since this perk has been added in the game, they've done nothing but buff it because it's just kind of bad. Because if a pallet is dropped down, usually the killer is gonna break it. There's only a handful of pallets the killers might not break, and those are really unsafe typically. So yeah, this what they're doing is they're removing the cooldown on the perk. So rather than having to wait, was it 60 seconds after you pick up a pallet, now you just have no cooldown. So I'm assuming they're gonna have the over reveal range scale between tiers, like 64 meters, 96 meters, and then 128 meters to see like a dropped pallet aura rather than just map wide. That's probably what they'll do. But yeah, I mean it's a buff. I don't think it's gonna change much of anything. When I use any means necessary, I pick up maybe one pallet a game. These killers just tend to break pallets, so yeah. Also for people who enjoy Patty Carr, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's getting some cosmetics. So here you go. There are a couple of cosmetics slated to come into the game very soon, with more to come. And that's pretty much it on the dev update. They say an update on cheating, but this isn't really an update. They're just saying that, oh yeah, we're continuing to patch vulnerabilities, and we have a new team lead. So yeah, but yeah, it's a pretty nice dev update. Also, PTP is next week. I've been told it's on a Wednesday, by a couple of people already. So PTP is on the Wednesday. Um, so yeah, that's the dev update. I will leave a link to this in the description if you want to just go ahead and read it for yourself. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say. I'll have to comment on the matter. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.